Hey everyone, so this week we're doing Bella the Bulldog from the Loops and Threads crochet kit. And here's some of the stuff that comes in it. If you have a stitch marker on the side, go ahead and grab it and a pair of scissors. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started on the eye patch. That's the written pattern for the eye patch. We're going to go ahead and grab our gray yarn. With our gray yarn, we're going to make a slip knot. Grabbing your yarn, twisting it, and pulling through. We're going to do a chain 6. Chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Into the second chain from the hook, we're going to do 3 half double crochets. So we're going to yarn over, put into the second chain from the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. That's a half double crochet. And do 2 more into the same stitch. So yarn over, put through, yarn over, pull through all 3. You have your 3 half double crochets. Then we're going to do 1 half double crochet into the next chain. Three regular double crochets into the next chain. So yarn over, put into the next chain, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Do it 2 more times. Put in, pull through 2, pull through 2, 1 more, pull through 2 and 2. That's our double crochets. In the next chain, we're going to do a half double crochet. Pull through all 3, and then 3 half double crochets into the next chain. So yarn over, put through, pull through all 3, put through all 3, put through all 3, just like that. So now you're going to rotate your work this way, and we're going to be working into these top loops here. Into the next 4 chains, we're doing 1 half double crochet. So this is the previous one that we worked into. There's one right here in the middle here. So we'll put through this first one, do a half double crochet. The next one, half double crochet. The next one, half double crochet, and 1 more. And now you're going to join this area into the first stitch of this round, going through both of those loops, put in, pull through, and then pull through straight through. Do a chain 1 to secure, and then this is the eye patch. Leave a little bit of a tail so that you can sew it onto the face later. Alright, so the next step, we're going to get started with the head. This here is the written pattern for the head. We're going to grab our white yarn, and we're going to make a magic ring. So wrap it around your fingers, under and over the top. Make your X, go under the first, over the second, twisting it towards you, looping in and pulling through. Now that we have our magic ring, we're going to do a chain 1 and then 6 single crochets into the magic ring. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll pull it down, and we're going to do a slip stitch into the first chain of this round, We do a chain 1. Ready for round 2. Round 2 is 2 single crochets in each stitch. So we have 1 and 2. And then the same thing, just 2 single crochets in each stitch. If you have a stitch marker, place it here at the beginning so you don't overdo your stitches. At the end of round 2, you're going to have a total of 12 stitches. Alright, so finish round 2, and to finish it off, we're going to do a slip stitch into the first stitch of that round, and then do a chain 1. And now we're ready for round 3. Round 3 is 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. So we do 1 single crochet, and then an increase of 2 single crochets. And you're going to repeat that same sequence 6 times. So 1 single crochet, and then 2 single crochets. If you have a stitch marker, place it here at the beginning so you don't lose track. You're going to repeat that same sequence 6 times. You're going to have a total of 18 stitches at the end. I'll meet you guys back for the slip stitch and chain 1. So we finish round 3. We have 18 stitches. We're going to do our slip stitch into the first stitch of that round with a chain 1. Ready for round 4. Round 4 is a single crochet in the next 2 stitches and then an increase. So we do 1 single crochet, next stitch another single crochet, and then an increase. 1 and 2 in the same stitch. I'm going to repeat that same sequence again. So we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets in the same stitch. You're going to repeat this sequence a total of 6 times. At the end of round 4, you'll have a total of 24 stitches. Remember, put your stitch marker here at the beginning if you lose track easily. Meet you guys back. So we finished round 4. We have a total of 24 stitches. Do our slip stitch into the first stitch of the round. Do our chain 1. Ready for round 5. Round 5 is 1 single crochet in 3 stitches and then an increase. So 1 single crochet in 1, 2, and 3, and then an increase. 1 and 2. You're going to repeat that same sequence 6 times. You're going to do 1 single crochet in 3 stitches and then an increase in the next stitch. You'll have a total of 30 stitches at the end. I'll meet you guys back for the slip stitch and chain 1. Alright, so we finished round 5. We have a total of 30 stitches. We're going to do our slip stitch into the first stitch of this round and our chain 1. Now we're ready for round 6. Round 6 is 1 single crochet in 14 stitches and then an increase. So 1, 2, 3. So we did 14 single crochets and then an increase. You're going to repeat that same sequence one more time. You're going to do 14 single crochets and then an increase. Meet you guys back at the end to do the slip stitch and chain 1. You'll have 32 stitches at the end of round 6. So we finish round 6. We have 32 stitches. We're going to slip stitch into the first stitch of the round and do a chain 1. Round 7, you're just doing 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. I'll meet you guys back in just a second. So we finished round 7, which is just 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Round 7 had 32 stitches. We'll do a slip stitch into the first stitch of the round with a chain 1. And for round 8, we're going to do 16 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is our 16th single crochet. They want us to place a stitch marker here because this is the marking where we're going to put the eyes later. So I'm going to place mine right here, out of the way for when we do the next round, like this. So then we're going to do 6 single crochets So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to place the second one to mark the other eye. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to place this one. So instead of placing it up here, we're going to place it down here, just out of the way. And this is where Bella's eyes will be when we get to that point. So continuing on with this round 8, we're going to do 10 single crochets. Meet you guys back at the end of the 10 single crochets to do a slip stitch and chain 1 to finish off the round. At the end of this round, you'll still have 32 stitches. So we finished our round 8. We're going to do our slip stitch and chain 1. That round 8 had 32 stitches. So for round 9 through 11, so 9, 10, and 11, you're just doing 1 single crochet in each stitch. In between rounds 9, 10, and 11, you're going to do your slip stitch and chain 1 in between. So each round will have 32 stitches. I'll meet you guys back at the end of round 11. Alright, so we finished round 11. Rounds 9, 10, and 11. And for the last one of round 11, we're doing a slip stitch and our chain 1. So for round 12, we're going to start with a single crochet and 14 stitches, and then we'll do a decrease. So I'll meet you guys back right before we do the decrease. So do 14 single crochets. Okay, so we did our 14 single crochets, and then we're going to do a decrease. So we're going to go into the next available stitch, yarn over, pull through, next available stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's our decrease. And we're going to do the same thing again. You're going to do 14 single crochets, and then you're going to do a decrease again. Alright, so for round 12, we're going to do that last decrease together. So we're going to do, I did my 14 single crochets, and I have 2 stitches left here. So we're going to go into the next stitch, pull through, next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And then we're going to do our slip stitch and chain 1. So we finish with round 12. You have 30 stitches here at round 12. And for round 13, we're going to start with 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So we do 1, 2, and 3, and then a decrease. So we go into the next stitch, into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through all 3. And that's our decrease. And we're going to repeat that same sequence 6 times. So we're going to do 3 single crochets and then a decrease, 3 single crochets and a decrease. Keep doing that all the way around. You'll have 24 stitches at the end of round 13. I'll meet you guys back for the slip stitch and chain 1. And if you get lost easily, put your stitch marker here at the beginning. So we finish round 13. We have a total of 24 stitches. You're going to slip stitch and chain 1. Now we're ready for round 14. Round 14, you're going to do 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So 2 single crochets and then a decrease. Into the next stitch, pull through, into the next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. Repeat that same sequence, 2 single crochets and a decrease. You're going to repeat that 6 times. At the end of round 14, you're going to have a total of 18 stitches. I'll meet you guys back to do the slip stitch and chain 1. So we finish round 14. We have a total of 18 stitches. We're going to do our slip stitch and chain 1. And just pull it up for just a minute. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to place the eyes. First, we're going to take our eye patch that we did, and we're going to place it on the right side, just like that. And then you're going to take the plastic eye and push it through. To hold it into place. I'm going to take out this stitch marker here. And we're going to push the backing on the inside. And then we're going to put the other eye in, and then in just a second we're going to stitch this down. So where the other stitch marker is, we're going to place the eye down in there. Take out your stitch marker. Push this through the back. And then this is the two eyes. So now what you're going to do, you're going to take this and your needle, put this through here. Once you have this through here, you're going to push it through the top, down through that second layer, and you're just going to weave it around to secure the eye patch down. And you're going to go up through the bottom, going through the next stitch, pull it up, going down through the top, into the next stitch, pulling it through, and you just keep doing this until the eye patch is all the way secured down. I'll meet you guys back in just a minute. So this is the eye patch fully secured down. You can just leave the extra thread here in the top of his head. It's not going to be able to come out once you add in all the stuffing. So we're going to go ahead and stuff the head a bit before we move on to round 15. Okay, so I stuffed the head, and we're going to go ahead and get started on our round 15. So the loop that we pulled up here, we'll just tighten it back down. Try to keep that polyfill stuffed in there. So we already did our slip stitch in chain 1, and round 15 is going to be 1 single crochet and then a decrease. So we'll do a single crochet and then a decrease. So into the next, pull through all 3. We'll keep repeating the same sequence of a single crochet and a decrease all the way around. At the end of round 15, you'll have a total of 12 stitches. So we did round 12, the holes here getting smaller. We're going to do our slip stitch, or I'm sorry, that's round 15. We did round 15, the holes getting smaller. We're doing a slip stitch and a chain 1. At the end of round 15, you have 12 stitches. And then for round 16, we're just doing a bunch of decreases to close up the hole. So into the next stitch, pull through, next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. And you're going to do this 6 times. Just like that. Keep doing your decreases. I'll meet you guys back in just a minute. We finished with round 16. Round 16, you did 6 decreases, leaving you with 6 stitches at the end. We're going to do a chain 1, pull it up, and we're going to cut the thread, leaving a little bit extra, and we're going to use that thread to close up the tiniest little hole here. So grab your tail. If you want to add any more stuffing to your head, you can. Thread our needle here, and then we're going to take it and we're going to do weaving. So go down into the next stitch, through, go down and weave up, pulling it through. And when you pull it tightly, will help close up the hole on the head like this. Once you're done doing that and you want to secure it, you're just gonna pull your thread around the other side, loop it through. I'm gonna put mine through the middle loop, pulling it up to create a little knot, and then I'm going to shove it into the head out the top, pulling that piece of thread. Grab your scissors. While you're pulling it, not too tight, just tight enough, snip it, and then that way it will stay inside the head. You don't have to worry about it. So now we finished the head, we're going to go ahead and get started working on the snout. So we're going to get started on the snout. This is the written pattern for the snout. We're going to grab our gray yarn, and we're going to make a magic ring, going under the first, over the second. We have our magic circle, and in our magic circle we're going to do 4 single crochets. Two, 3, 4, and we're going to tighten it down, and we're going to do our slip stitch into the first stitch of that round. And a chain 1. So we have our 4 single crochets. You're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. So go into the next stitch and we'll do 2 single crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Now we have our 8. You're going to do a slip stitch into the first stitch of round 2 and a chain 1. So that's round 2. Rounds 3 through 5 are going to be the same. You're just doing 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. So I'll meet you guys back at the end of round 5. In between round 3, 4, and 5, make sure to do a chain 1 and a slip stitch and a chain 1 in between each round. You'll still have 8 stitches all the way around. Meet you guys back at the end of round 5. So I finished round 5. Still have my 8 stitches. I already did my slip stitch and chain 1. So for round 6, we're going to do a decrease. So into the next stitch, into the next stitch, pull through all 3, and then single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to do one more decrease. So into the next decrease, into the next, yarn over, pull through all 3. And that's our decrease for round 6. At the end of round 6, we'll have 6 stitches. And we're going to do our slip stitch. So we got our slip stitch and chain 1. If you want to add any stuffing into the snout here, you can go ahead and add some stuffing. I'm not going to pass on that one. I don't want to put any stuffing in here. But if you want to, you can go ahead and do that. So for round 7, you're going to do a decrease. So into the next stitch, pull through, next stitch, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3, a single crochet in 2 stitches. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and then a decrease. So 1 and 2. And pull through all 3. We have 4 stitches now. We're going to do our slip stitch into this first stitch of the round. And a chain 1. So that's round 8, or that's round 7. We have 4 stitches. For round 8, they want you to just do 1 single crochet in each stitch. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that's our 4 single crochets. For round 9, well, first we're going to do a slip stitch into the first stitch of the round, like that, and a chain 1. Now we're ready for round 9. Round 9, we're going to do an increase, so into this stitch, so for round 9, we're going to do an increase of 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, do 1, 2, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to do another increase. And now we have our 6 stitches. So for round 10, what we're going to do, before we do round 10, we're doing our slip stitch, chain 1, and for round 10, we do an increase, so for round 10, we're going to do an increase of 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, and then a single crochet in 4 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then in the last stitch, we're going to do another increase of 2. So an increase of 1 and 2. And we're doing a slip stitch into the first stitch of that round, and a chain 1. Or this is going to be the other side of the snout where it's starting to get bigger again. Round 11 is just one single crochet in each stitch. So we do our chain 1. We'll have a total of 8 stitches at the end of round 11. So we'll just do one single crochet in each stitch. I'll meet you guys right back. So we finished up round 11. I have 8 stitches. I already did my slip stitch and chain 1. So rounds 12 through 14 are going to be the same. It's just one single crochet in each stitch all the way around. In between rounds 12 through 14, you're going to make sure to do your slip stitch and chain 1. At the end of round 14, I'll meet you guys back. It's going to have 8 stitches. So we did rounds 12 through 14. And we did our slip stitch and our chain 1. Ready for round 15. Round 15, we're just doing a decrease. So we're doing a decrease 4 times. So into the next stitch. Next stitch. 2, all 3. 1, 2, all 3. And then 1 and 2. That leaves us with 4 stitches. We're going to do our slip stitch and chain 1 to secure. And chain 1, and then pull it up a little bit. A little bit of a tail, you're going to need to use it to sew it onto the front of the dog. Alright, so here's the snout. This is what I did. I left out the black line in the middle. You can put yours there. The only thing I don't really enjoy the way they had us attach it. I wish we would have attached it to the face before we closed it up so that you wouldn't see this plastic ring here. So this is her little snout. I just kind of stitch it on, weaving it through the back side of here, trying to keep the stitches low so you can't see it go over the white. So I'll meet you guys back to move on to the next step. The next step that we're going to get started on is the front legs and the body. I made one of the legs already off camera. This is one of the front legs. I'm going to make the second one with you. And in the pattern from rounds 1 to 16 is how you're going to make the legs, and then rounds 17 to 27 is we're going to make the body and put the 2 legs onto the body. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to make my second leg here, and we're going to start with the round 1. So grabbing our white yarn, we're going to make a magic circle, wrap around over the top, go under the first, over the second, move it around. We're going to do a chain 1 and then 5 single crochets into the magic ring. So chain 1 and then 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once you have your 5, you're going to tighten it down. You're going to slip stitch into the first stitch of that round. Like this. Pull through and pull all the way through. And chain 1. Now we're ready for round 2. So for round 2, we're going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch. And at the end of round 2, you're going to have a total of 10 stitches. Alright, so this is our round 2. I did my slip stitch and chain 1 already. So for round 3, you're going to do 1 single it's rounds 3 through 16. You're just doing one single crochet in each stitch all the way around, doing a slip stitch and a chain one in between. You'll still have 10 stitches. So you'll just do one single crochet in each stitch all the way around, all the way until round 16. I'll meet you guys back at the end of round 16. So we were going to come here to the round 17, where you take one of the legs, and it says to do a chain one, a single crochet into the 10 stitches around, and then do a chain 4 and join it back to where it was. And then do a single crochet in the next 9, a single crochet in the chain 4, and you'd magically get 28 stitches. I tried to do that off camera twice. I don't know how they were doing this. I don't know how they got 28 stitches. I couldn't figure that out. So I changed it, and it looks like it will come out about the same. So for my round 17, I'm going to change it. My round 17, I'm going to do a magic ring with 12 single crochets in it, and then do a round 18 for 2 single crochets in each stitch for 24, and then round 19 and 20. So I'm going to be doing this one instead of what they have written here, because what they have written for round 17, 18, and 19 doesn't work for me. So I'm going to do it this way just so that I can finish the project. So we'll start off with our white yarn and a magic ring. This seems to be a common problem with the loops and thread kits, is that often their written patterns don't seem to make any sense, and you have to change it or adjust it for it to work. So I don't know what that's about. So we're going to do 12 single crochets into the magic ring. 2, 3, 4. So we have our 12 single crochets into the magic ring. We're going to tighten it down. And like usual, we're going to do our slip stitch into the first stitch of that round. And then a chain 1. And for my rounds 18, I'm doing 2 single crochets in each stitch. At the end of round 18, we're going to have 24 stitches. So I'll meet you guys back in just a minute. So we finished round 18. We have our 24 stitches. You're going to slip stitch and chain 1 into that first stitch of the round. Where my middle of my circle's coming undone a little bit, we'll just pull it down a little tight. So my round 19 is 12 single crochets and then an increase, and we're going to do that twice. So you do 12 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we did our 12 single crochets, and then we're going to do an increase. And then we're going to do 12 more single crochets. So now we have 26 stitches. We'll do our slip stitch and chain 1. We're doing round 20. For my round 20, it's 13 single crochets and then an increase. And you repeat that twice. At the end of this round, you're going to have a total of 28 stitches. I'll meet you guys back at the end of this round to do the slip stitch and chain 1. So you'll have 13 single crochets and then an increase. So we finish round 20. Do our slip stitch and chain 1. Ready for round 21. And so for round 21, I'm going to use the round 20 of the original pattern. Since now we have 28 stitches, we can continue with what they had put. So this one's going to be my round 21, and then this is my 22 to 28. And then we'll continue with the rest. So for 21, we're going to do, we have our slip stitch and chain 1, and then we're going to do a single crochet in 6 stitches and then an increase. So 1 single crochet in 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then do an increase. 1, 2. Repeat that same sequence 3 more times. You're going to do 6 single crochets and then an increase. At the end of this round, you'll have a total of 32 stitches. I'll meet you guys back for the slip stitch and chain 1. So we finished round 21. We do our slip stitch and chain 1. At this round, we have a total of 32 stitches. So now we're going to do rounds 22 through 28. And it's just going to be 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. In between each round, you're going to do a slip stitch and a chain 1. So you just do 1 single crochet, and I'll meet you guys back at the end of round 28. Okay, so we finished our round 28. Now, their round 28 is my round 29. So when I did this over here, I had 1 extra row compared to what they had before we came back over here. So I had rounds 22 to 28 doing the single crochet in each stitch around with 32 stitches. And now that we have finished that, we're going to do, so their round 28 is our round 29, if you're following along with me. And I'm going to do a chain 1 with a single crochet in the next 14 and then a decrease 2 times, and we'll have 30 stitches at the end of this round. So then we'll have 29, 30, 31, 32, and there'll be 1 up from what they say on the paper. So for this next round is my round 29. We're going to start with a single crochet and 14 stitches. We have our 14 single crochets, and now we're going to do a decrease. Put in the next stitch, and the next stitch, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then do 14 more single crochets and then another decrease. At the end of this round 29, you're going to have a total of 30 stitches. Finishing off round 29, we did our decrease, and then we do our slip stitch and chain 1. Now we're ready for our round 30. Our round 30 is 1 single crochet in 3 stitches and then a decrease, and repeat that 6 times. So we're going to do a single 1, 2, and 3, and then a decrease. So into the next, pull through 3. So then 1, 2, 3, and then a decrease. I'm going to repeat that 4 more times. At the end of this round 30, you're going to have a total of 24 stitches. So we finish round 30. We're going to do our slip stitch and chain 1. For round 31, we're going to slip our single crochet in the next 2 and then do a decrease. So you do 1, 2, and then a decrease. You repeat that same sequence, 2 single crochets and a decrease. You're going to do that 5 more times. At the end of this round, you'll have 18 stitches. So we finish round 31. We're going to do our slip stitch and chain 1. Ready for round 32. Round 32 is simple. You're just doing 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. I'll meet you guys back at the end. While you're away, go ahead and stuff the body with your polyfill, and I'll meet you guys back. Okay, so we finished rounds 32 with just 1 single crochet in each stitch around with 18 stitches. I went ahead and stuffed the body, so I'm not stuffing it full as like it would turn into a ball shape. I stuffed it and kind of squished it this way so that it would look like the dog is laying on its belly, and push the stuffing out more to the sides here to widen out the body. That way when you lay it down, it's going to lay flat instead of looking like a ball. So we're going to go ahead and get started with round 33. It's going to be a single crochet in the next stitch and then a decrease. We're going to do that 6 times. So I did my slip stitch and my chain 1. Then we're going to do a single crochet and then a decrease. And we're going to keep repeating that 6 times. You'll have 12 stitches at the end. So we're going to do a single crochet, and then a decrease. Like that. As you go along, if you feel like it needs a little bit more stuffing, go ahead and add some, and I'll meet you guys back at the end of round 33. You'll have 12 stitches at the end of this round. We finish round 33. We're going to do our slip stitch into the first stitch of this round, and our chain 1, ready for round 34. Round 34, we're just doing 1 single crochet in each stitch around. You'll still have 12 stitches at the round of 34. Once I do round 34, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit more stuffing to help support the neck. Alright, so I added a little bit more stuffing here to try and support the shape of the neck here, making sure to keep it flat and wide rather than ball shaped. We're going to do the last round. I already did my chain or my slip stitch in chain 1, and round 35 is just a decrease in each stitch. So we're going to next, and then a decrease. We'll go into the next, and decrease. Go ahead and do 3 more of those. At the end, you'll have only 6 stitches left. You're going to do a chain 1 and cut. And I'll meet you guys back for the next step. So this is the finished body. I don't know if this is the way they intended it to want to look when they were writing the pattern. Whoever wrote this pattern, I don't think they did a good job. Hopefully loops and threads will get their crap together. However, this is the body that I have. This is how it looks. I'll show you how I'm going to stitch the head on to make sure that when it's laying down, the head's a little bit more up, because the 2 front legs are going to come out the bottom here. We'll show you that later on. So now that we finished that, we're going to go ahead and get started with the back legs. This is the written pattern for the back legs. And we're going to get our white yarn, and let's get started. With our white yarn, make our slip knot, and then we're doing a chain 5. So we chain 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So into the second chain from the hook. So if we have 1 here and 1, the next one right here. Into the second chain, we're doing 3 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3. And then next we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 2 chain. So we just got done with this one. In the next chain we're doing a single crochet. In the next chain we're doing a single crochet. Into the last chain we're going to do 3 single crochets. There, 1, 2, and 3. They want us to turn our work, so we're working with it like this. Now they want you to rotate it upward where these loops here are on the top. So this big loop right here, this is the current chain that we're working into. So we want to go into this next one over here, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet, and then into the next set of loops here, we're also going to do a single crochet. Once you get there, we're going to slip stitch into this first stitch right here at the beginning. And then chain 1. And now it's joined together. You would have a total of 10 stitches around. And for round 2, so now we're ready for round 2. We're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 5. So right here where we did our slip stitch, chain 1, that's our first stitch, is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's our first 5 single crochets. And then they want us to do an increase 3 times. So in the next stitch, we're doing an increase of 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. The next stitch, doing the same thing, 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, and 1 more increase. So we did our 5 single crochets, and then the next 3 stitches after your 5 single crochets each have an increase of 2 single crochets in that stitch. So now we did our increase 3 times. We're going to do a single crochet in the next 2. So we have the next stitch and the next stitch. This brings us back around to the beginning where we started. We're going to do a slip stitch and a chain 1. So a slip stitch into the first stitch of that round and chain 1, and it looks like this. This is the bottom of the paw pad. So now we're ready for round 3. Round 3 is just 1 single crochet in each stitch. So we got 1. We should have a total of 13 stitches at the end of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And this right here, this is our chain 1 space. So now we got our 13. We're doing our slip stitch and chain 1. Now it kind of looks like a tiny foot, bottom of a foot, like this. Then we're going to continue with round 4. So round 4 is just 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches, and then a decrease 3 times, and then a single crochet in 2 stitches. So 1 single crochet in the next 5. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we're going to do a decrease 3 times. So in the next stitch, put in, pull through, next stitch, put in, pull through. That's 1 decrease. Do a second decrease and a third decrease. Now that we've done our 3 decreases, we should only have these 2 stitches left. So we do 1 single crochet in the last 2 stitches. And then here's our chain 1 space again. You're going to slip stitch into the first stitch of that round and chain 1, just like that. And then rounds 5 through 7 are simple, just 1 single crochet in each stitch all the way around. Make sure you're doing your slip stitch and chain 1 in between rows 5, 6, and 7. At the end of rows 5, 6, and 7, you'll have each 10 stitches, so I'll meet you guys back at the round 7 to do our slip stitch, chain 1, and get ready for round 8. So we did rounds 5 through 7. Kind of makes a little bit of an ankle point here. This is the toe, rounded foot. So now we're going to get started with round 8. I already did my slip stitch and chain 1. So for round 8, we're going to do an increase and then a single crochet in 4 stitches. So in the first stitch here, we're going to do an increase of 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet in 4 stitches. 2, 3, and 4. We're going to repeat that same sequence again, so we're going to do an increase of 2 single crochets in 1 stitch, and then we're going to do a 1 single crochet in the next 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we do our slip stitch into the first stitch of this round. And then chain 1. So in this part of it's going to start widening it back out to make the wider portion of the dog's thigh. So for round 9, we're going to do an increase and then a single crochet in 5 stitches and then repeat that twice. So we'll do an increase, two single crochets in 1 stitch, and then 5 stitches, 5 single crochets in the next 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we do another increase. You're going to keep that and then repeat the 5 single crochets or 1 single crochet in the next 5 stitches. Do that same sequence again and I'll meet you guys back at the end. At the end of round 9, you're going to have 14 stitches. For round 10, you make sure you do your slip stitch and chain 1. And then for round 10, you're going to do an increase. And then 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. And then repeat that again with another increase and then 1 single crochet in the next 6 stitches. At the end of round 10, you'll have a total of 16 stitches. Alright, so we finished round 10. Round 11, we're going to do a single crochet in the next 3 and then an increase. So we do 1 single crochet, 2, and 3, and then an increase, 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. You're going to repeat that same sequence of 1 single crochet in the next 3 and then an increase 4 times. At the end of round 11, you're going to have a total of 20 stitches. So we finished round 11. Round 12, we're going to do 1 single crochet in 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then an increase. You're going to do that twice. At the end of round 12, you're going to have 22 stitches. And then for rounds 13 through 14, you're just doing one single crochet in each stitch all the way around. So go ahead and do rounds 12, 13, and 14, and I'll meet you guys back at the end. Alright, so this is my finished leg. I went ahead and stuffed it. It has this ankle point, kind of bottom foot point, and the thigh part that's going to go on the body. Next thing we're going to make is the ears. I already made one off camera. This is the written pattern for the ears. There's only a little bit of a difference between the round 2 for the left ear and the right ear, depending on which one you're doing. So together we're going to make the right ear here on camera. I already made the left ear off camera. I did make my ear a little smaller than what they have written. They had it to go longer and then kind of come to a smaller point down at the bottom. That one's a little big for the head that I have here, so I shrunk mine down a little bit. So getting started with the ear, we got our pink yarn. We're going to make a slip knot. And we're going to do a chain 3. So a chain 1, chain 2, chain 3 into the second chain. So we have one chain, the second chain. Into the second chain, you're going to do a single crochet. And then in the next stitch, you're going to do a single crochet as well. You're going to turn your work. I'm going to do my chain 1 first and then turn my work. And then this is the loops from before. We're working into the 2 single crochets that we just did. And so for the round 2, since we're doing the right ear, we're going to start off with a single crochet and then an increase. Where for the left ear, you would do the increase first and then do a single crochet. But for the right ear, once you do that, you're going to do a chain 1 and turn again. Then you're going to do an increase and then a single crochet and then an increase. So an increase for round 3, a single crochet, and an increase. Like this. And then for rounds 4 through 7, so you're going to do that chain 1 and rotate, and you're going to do 1 single crochet for rounds 4 through 7 in each stitch. And between each one, make sure you do a chain 1 and turn. So that's round 4. And I'll meet you guys back at the end of round 7. Okay, so this is round 7. At the end of round 7, we're going to do that chain 1 and turn. And round 8 is going to be a decrease, a single crochet, and another decrease. Just like that. And then you're going to do a chain 1 and cut. I'm going to change mine off camera because I want my ear to be smaller than this. So once you do your chain 1 and cut, then you're going to grab your white yarn, because we're going to edge this project out to make the outer portion of the ear. So grab your white yarn to get ready for the edging, and then you're going to attach it into the bottom corner of your work. Put your slip knot on your hook, pull it through, do a chain 1 to secure, and then you're going to place 2 single crochets down here in the corner, and then 1 single crochet in each stitch along the side until you get to the top point. When you get to the top point, you're going to do 3 single crochets to help keep the point of the ear. So I got 1, 2, and 3. And while you're going down this side over here where the tail of the thread is, hold it against the project to keep it sandwiched in the middle of the yarn so you don't have to weave it in later. And if you want a thicker border on the ear of your dog, you just go ahead and do a second round of single crochets. Alright, so once you do your single crochets all the way around, then you're going to do your slip stitch into the first one that you did of that round, like this. And then you can do your chain 1 and cut. And then that's what the ear is going to look like once it's edged out. So I'll meet you guys back when I finish that. So we got our blue thread here. Let's get our slip knot ready to go. And we're going to start with a chain 4. So chain 1, 2, 3, and 4. Got our chain 4. 2 double crochets into the 4th chain from the hook. So yarn over, put into the 4th chain from the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Another double crochet into the 4th chain of the hook, pull through 2 and pull through 2. It looks something like this. We're going to do a chain 3, chain 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the same chain we did our double crochets. So into this chain here, we're placing our slip stitch. This right here is our chain 3. This is our 2 double crochets. We're going to do another chain 3. So chain 1, 2, 3. 2 double crochets into the same chain. So yarn over, put it in, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 and 2, and 1 more double crochet. Now we got something looking like this. I'm going to do a chain 3. And then slip stitch that into the same chain. Now we have something like this. So we're going to fasten it off. So we're going to go do a chain 1, pull it up a little bit. Now that we have that. So wrap the yarn tail around the center several times, creating the bow. And secure it with a knot. So we have our bow here like this. And you're going to take your threads here. I'm going to hold each side between my fingers here so that I can pull it down and around. Hold it together. I'm smushing it between my fingers in the middle to prevent it from coming undone. And you wrap it until you feel that it's good to go. And I want us to tie a knot. So we're going to take it around. I'm going to hold it here in the center like this. Take it around my finger and the project. And take the tail. You're going to push it through the middle of the project. Under that center piece. Pulling it through. This is going to create a knot. And pull it down slowly to keep it in the center. And pull it tight. There you go, like that. And now we have a bow. And then you're going to be able to use this tail to position it into place. So I'll come back to show you guys the assembly of Bella the Bulldog. Alright, so I haven't put the white stitching detail that they have right around the eye. So I'm going to go in kind of just at the top here. This is the one of the ears already on. Kind of go in from the back and come in right in the top here. I'm going to pull it almost all the way through. And we're going to go into the next stitch here. And kind of go in and push it in down through the next stitch. That way when we pull it through, it's right there at the top. Then we're going to do it again. So we're going to go into the next stitch, push it in a little bit, and then flex it up to get it going around the next one. And we're going to do the same thing. And I want it to come out right over here so that I can cover up that hole. We'll go down in this one, come up the next one. You could do this before you put the face on if you want. Probably would make it a little bit easier. I forgot to do it. So I'm doing it this way. Or if you don't want them to have a little white patch, you can leave it out completely. So this is the last stitch, so I'm going to shove it through the front, shove it out the back here, pull it down. Now she's got a little white patch. Tug on it just a little bit, snip it. That way it's in the side. I'm going to pull this piece up a little bit, snip it as well, and now it's inside the head. We're not going to worry about weaving it in anymore. We got that so far. We're going to go ahead and put on the other ear. Okay, so we got this other ear. So I put mine pretty close to the center of the head. You could go ahead and put this one in the same spot, kind of give it that up look. Put a little lower if you want to give the ears a different look. I'm going to put mine in the same spot. So once you find your spot, find a stitch to go through to get your starting stitch in. Once you have it down, make sure it's in the spot that you want it to be in. You're going to go through the back here. So once you get to go through the back, push it in and pull down. Make sure it's in that place that you want it to be. And then you're going to secure it down to the head and then weave into the rest of the stitches. So we'll go under this stitch, up through one of the stitches there, and pull it down. Alright. So what we got looks like this. And we're going to take this and we're going to shove it through the back side of the head, out the bottom, pull it down a little bit, snip it off, pull up a little bit and adjust the ear, and there you go. That's what we got going on so far. Real quick, we're going to go ahead and put that bow on that we made. So you get your bow, put it on your needle, and then we're going to figure out where you want your bow to be. I'm going to trim this tiny piece here, get this out of the way. So you figure out where you want your bow to be. I think on the box they originally had it on the right side. I'm going to put mine on the left side, just it works better for me. So we're going to go ahead and place it right about here. Right over here next to the corner of the left ear. We're going to weave it through down the bottom. And I want it to sit up against the ears, so I'm going to actually go into this stitch right here, looping this around the front, pulling it tight, and coming back around the front, pushing it through the center of that bow, back through that same stitch. Like this. And I'm going to shove this blue back into the head, pull it tight, and snip it off. There you go. And that's the face that we have so far. I'll meet you guys back when I'm ready to stitch the body together. Alright, so we got all our pieces together. We got the 2 front arms, the 2 back legs, the main body. Also have the head with the bow. I've already stitched on all the head details, the ears, the bow, muzzle, all of that. I left a long thread here on the neck to stitch it onto the head. So I'm going to do a time lapse of me stitching it together. Basically, you're taking your tapestry needle, putting your thread through, and you're weaving it between here, and weaving it up and around, or up and over in a wave motion. Either way works, but most of the time you go in one section, through the other section, up, over, and back through. And then when I'm going to stitch on the legs first, and then I'm going to stitch on the arms. I'm going to try and get the arms to sit inward a little bit more, like this, so that I can pose the head like this. Alright, so we finished stitching Bella the Bulldog together. This is what I got. I kind of ended up getting a little thick here with the stitching that I did. The bow came out really cute, ears came out nice. Overall, the pattern was a little bit difficult than it should be, but not too bad. So you have a friend who can sit on your desk. I would almost give her a tail. It kind of looks a little, or another patch, another gray patch back here. I think it would look cute. And when I stitched on the head, I took the thread from down here at the bottom, weaved it through the bottom of the head, through the top, using it here to position her head upright. so it looks like she's looking at you. Overall, this kit wasn't too bad. The loops and thread kits patterns are kind of difficult, but they always come out with something cute in the end. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.